All right, time for our favorite segment. Yeah, I get to tell one lucky leftist, shut your pie hole. Today, we've got a newcomer, but I bet he'll be back. The radical left's favorite billionaire. They always tell us billionaires are so bad, but they love Tom Steyer. He's the California gubernatorial candidate, recently appearing on a podcast. And instead of talking about maybe wildfire recovery or the terrible drug problem, homelessness in the streets of LA, he wanted to talk about how stressed out trans kids are. Watch.
You talked about trans people. I'm totally in favor of trans athletes in high school. I think when you understand the vulnerability, the stress, the danger of being a trans kid, and you understand that almost half of them try to commit suicide.
Yeah.
And then you think we're going to punish those kids. We're going to cut them off from team sports. We're going to cut them off from participating in the community. We're going to cut them off from fun. It's like, no, we're not.
Let's not keep using the phrase cut them off, okay, Tom? This is not even an 80-20 issue. It's like 98 to 2%. You're with a complete radical fringe. Unless you're a far-left candidate trying to get elected out in wacky California, that's the only way you're standing up on this. Or maybe you're someone who needs to get their hard drive checked. Who's really still fighting for this nonsense? Tom, you know who's really vulnerable, who's really stressed? Actual high school girls, junior high girls, who are expected to share bathrooms and locker rooms with dudes pretending to be girls. So it's my pleasure to tell Tom Steyer, shut your pie hole. To discuss, let's bring in Amber Duke. First time here talking Shut Your Pie Hole. She's the editor-in-chief of the Daily Caller. Amber, always good to see you. Welcome in.
Thanks, Ed. Nice to see you.
This can't be a popular take. I mean, after the 2024 election, a lot of Democrats ran from this issue. Are you as tired as I am of someone like Steyer saying, guys pretending to be girls are really stressed out?
I'm so tired of it. And it's no wonder why the 2024 DNC autopsy barely mentioned trans issues. They sort of passingly mentioned the they-them ad, which was highly effective against Kamala Harris, but otherwise did not admit that it was this issue in part that cost them that election cycle, because they are completely captured by the trans lobby. They have decided that the comfort and feelings of roughly 1% of the population, if we're being generous, outweighs the safety of young girls. And besides even just the bathroom and locker room issue, which should be obvious, right? Biological girls should not have to change with members of the opposite sex. This is a fairness issue as well. I played club field hockey in college, and we actually had co-ed teams, but there was a rule that there were only 2 men allowed on the field at one time, because it was so obvious and common sense that there is a massive advantage for men who play sports against women.
But you use the phrase common sense, which is the key. And obviously, none of us want to minimize suicide among children. It's a scourge. It's horrible. But aren't those suicides largely coming from adults who are encouraged, hey, mutilate your genitals, it's going to be fine, and get them hopped up on these drugs, the pharmaceutical industry? And that's why they're driven to suicide.
Well, the beautiful thing is we have so much science on this now, thanks to the leadership of actually a lot of European countries. Both Denmark and the UK have done massive studies on this issue. They found that not only is that suicide number that Tom Steyer is claiming totally hyperbole, it's not even close to that high, but that when you put children on puberty blockers, hormone therapies, and in some cases sex change surgeries, that those numbers don't decrease. In fact, in a lot of cases, they actually increase. So it's pretty clear that the problem is not with a lack of affirmation or a lack of so-called medical care, as they call it. The problem is the fact that these children are facing massive mental issues, and they need to be going through psychiatry. They need to be going to therapists. They need to have adults in the room who are willing to be courageous and brave and tell them that this is not the answer.
Yeah, it's a mental health issue. You're absolutely right. I want to play one more clip. This is a reporter at MS Now talking about these issues. Watch.
But you can use identity politics, quote unquote, as a kitchen table issue. Right? When you talk about whether or not people can have access to healthy, safe abortions, that is a kitchen table issue, right? Whether or not a trans kid can get the services they need, that is a kitchen table issue for families.
So trans kids and abortions, that's a kitchen. I thought kitchen table issues were like prescription drugs, the economy, the gas prices. Your final thought?
Yeah, you would think so. And that would be a big lesson for the Democrats to learn, especially as they're now trying to pivot to make affordability their big pitch heading into the midterms. That should be the focus for them. But they just can't seem to help themselves from talking about these 80-20, or as you put in some cases, 98-2 issues,
Yeah.
because they're worried about what their activist class is going to do to them if they dare buck the trend.
Incredible. Amber Duke, appreciate your insights today. Thank you.